All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. Look, today we're gonna have a quick but an impactful conversation about the power of Black media. And I'm so proud to sit next to me, two incredible, one king, one queen, people who are doing amazing work in the space. First and foremost, I wanna welcome my sister, Caroline Wanga. She is the CEO of Essence Ventures. How many of y'all check Essence out? Anybody here read Essence? Anybody here know Afropunk? Anybody out here know BeautyCon? Then do me a favor and welcome the woman who's responsible for leading all of that to the stage, Miss Caroline Wanga. And she fly too, right?
Hey, Black people.
And then next up, I want to welcome to the stage. How many of y'all know about Hollywood Unlocked? How many of y'all know about the Jason Lee show on Revolt? How many of y'all know about Jason Lee from his reality TV days? My man has done it all. He is an incredible human. I want to welcome to the stage my friend, Jason Lee. All right, so we're gonna have a quick conversation about the power of Black media. What I want you guys to first kind of start me out with is, why is Black-owned media important? So people will talk about non-Black media. We'll talk about the ABCs and the NBCs. People might talk about Black-targeted media, media that is designed to talk to us, but it actually ain't run by us, like a BET. Why is Black-owned media important?
I need Jason to go first because he's going to put the dagger in it because he's just straight with it, and then I'll follow you. Go ahead, brother.
Hi, how's everybody doing? Okay, so when Detavio invited me here with the queen.
The queen.
And the king of revolt, I said, yo, I'm gonna talk my shit. I'm gonna tell you the problem.
I told you.
The reason why Black-owned media and Black voices in media are important is because a lot of the culture has been co-opted by whiteness, and it's driven by people who wanna use the hot sauce to sell shit that we really don't need. So when you have people like me, who's a free thinker, who's not bound or obligated to the ecosystem of bullshit, I can come in and say, nah, that ain't right. You just want Black people who are cool to wear your shit. We're not doing that. Or you're not doing this, or you're not doing that. Or why aren't you investing in Black? And I think, when you look at models like Essence, or you see what Detavio and Puff have done with Revolt, you know that it's possible for people like me to come up and start a company from Instagram and then be able to do it in a way that gets to a $50 million valuation without selling the keys to the people that don't really care about the culture.
That part. And I love that Jason went first, and I love because I think you have a story of really creating your own Black kind of media company. And one of my favorite statements you've made is how you made a statement a couple years ago about on red carpets, right? Talent will go to every other outlet except the Black ones, right? My add-on to what Jason said is really tied to economics, y'all, right? There's no problem with Black media if you're paying us at the value of what you're pilfering from us. This isn't about only Black people can partake in Black media, can participate in Black culture. It can be for all. But you need to return the full value to the group that creates it. The problem with Black targeted versus Black owned is Black targeted does not return that money back to Black. Every dollar you give VH1, BET, all of those dollars that go to non-Black owned media companies do not come back to our community, do not create Black generational wealth, do not create a reality where economic inclusion is a human right. Those dollars go back to somebody else. And whatever the hell is happening with this headband?
It look good.
That's a Black targeted media company too, haters. But my point is, the difference between Black owned and Black targeted is that the dollar stays with us, comes back to us, gets multiplied by us, and continues to drive generational wealth commensurate to what we contribute to the culture. Everybody can participate in Black culture, but you must pay for it at its full value, and you must pay the culture that develops it. We have a saying at Essence that was started by one of our partners that is very simple. The revolution must be financed at full value, no discounts.
Boom. So we're gonna jump. She alley-ooped me. Now I'm about to alley-oop her right back. But first, I'm gonna start with a question. How much money do y'all think ABC puts into our community? Just shout out the number. $1 million, $0. I see a zero. How much money y'all think VH1 puts back into our community? Caroline Wanga, tell me, just by Essence Fest alone, what do you put back into the community?
Essence Festival of Culture has existed, it'll be its 30th year next year. The total economic impact, not even just to Black, back to the state of New Orleans, since its beginning, $4.4 billion.
Say that one more time.
$4.4 billion of economic impact back to the state of Louisiana for the largest festival in the country by per day attendance. $4.4 billion.
And you know what's amazing about that number when you think about the fact that if you go all the way back to our history, how did they keep slaves enslaved? By not giving them books, by not educating them, by not giving them access to information. When you think about how all of you out here are consumers. You're the people that every single brand you know is targeting to spend your money. I had a call with Coca-Cola and they said, our goal is to get every single person in the world to buy one Coke product per day, whether it's water, whether it's Coke, whether it's Sprite, whatever. That's how they're strategically figuring out how to get each of you to consume it. And when I think about the 7 months that I was working with Kanye and having meetings with Adidas, I went in Adidas, the first meeting I had with the vice president of Adidas, I said, now that I'm here, my question for you is, how much money has Kanye made at Adidas? They said $3 billion. I said, out of that $3 billion, how much money have you put back into the Black community? Because I fundamentally believe anybody that looks like me that makes you that much money, you should be returning back to, pouring back into our community. They said, we have no marketing budget for the Yeezy. We don't need it. Everybody will buy the Yeezy if we put it out tomorrow. And I said, but you still don't feel some type of obligation to put 5% back into programming? That became a big thing that then Adidas hired a Black man to come in and start handling Ye and handling me, and they use us against each other to make us believe that we don't need the book. Because what she just talked about, when you go to Essence, it is Black, 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 Black. Everything you see is Black. And it's the largest music festival in the world. But I was at an event the other night where some Black folks was honoring the owners of Rolling Loud, who are white folks. They should have been honoring Essence because it was a Black-owned event to honor culture. And how dare you, and no disrespect, because I like the owners of Rolling Loud. I follow one of them on Instagram, but my Instagram is just because I'm entertained. But if we have to speak the truth, she should have been on that stage. Richie Lou should have been on that stage getting that honor because they've earned that. And they poured back into the culture.
Yeah, and I think it's important to highlight something, which is nobody's saying you can't spend your money with non-Black. Let me be clear, right? Everything on my body ain't Black owned. That's not what it's about. This isn't an either or. It is be intentional about how you are driving Black economic inclusion and generational wealth. Be intentional about how you look for Black-owned businesses to spend your dollars with. But let me tell you what we do as business owners to even further that. So we just talked about the festival, right? I talked about what's the economic impact. Our role is not just to bring money in via that festival and give it back to the community. What we also do with our presenting sponsors and others, something that rhymes with Ola, is we not only have a sponsorship level with them, but within most of the contracts that we have with a lot of our highest level sponsors, we require that they hire Black businesses for how they show up at the festival. Because if all they do is sponsor, but the people that come and do their activation, the talent that they bring in, if all of that is not Black owned, then the Black dollar stops at the point that it comes to Essence. But when we say, if you're gonna build an activation, you need to use a Black agency. If you're gonna create any sort of creative, you need to use a Black agency. And we don't tell them which agency you use, we tell them what dollar amount. So if you want to put your name on the highest, biggest festival in the country, then you gotta also commit to a certain amount of money of your activation going to additional Black businesses, or you can't have this slot. And so it's bigger than just the moment of the company. We perpetuate that advantage so that then you, ma'am, who makes these super dope outfits, has the opportunity to create clothing for the Coca-Cola executives to come down. Your creative could be what they use. Your activation and creativity on events can come there, and then the Black dollar stays with us beyond what the business of Essence gets. That's what economic inclusion looks like.
So two things that I want to pull out. One is this notion for all of the entrepreneurs in the building. I want you to hear how the values of the business are not just expressed, but how they funnel their way through the entire business model. These are the times where you have to build purpose-driven businesses. You can't just say you're about it, you have to be about it. Two, because I'm on my game, I know we've been talking about Coca-Cola, but let me tell you.
My middle name is Cola, by the way, really.
Her middle name is Cola, my middle name is Pepsi. So I want to give love to Pepsi because we would not be here without Pepsi pouring money.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, all good. I just got, we would not be here without Pepsi pouring money into Revolt without believing in this company. And so I just want to make sure, as we're talking about brands to support, who reinvest in us, I want to make sure you guys know that Pepsi is one of the reasons why
I was
we're
talking about the
here.
other festival.
Yeah.
The one that happened in New Orleans.
Well, and if I could say, and this is another thing that doesn't happen often, but I will give credit to Detavio for doing. Before we brought the Jason Lee show to Revolt, and before I had a formal relationship with Revolt, Detavio invited me here last year. I spoke last year, but he walked me around as the CEO of a black-owned business that has their own P&L, their own budget, their own finances, their own things going on, and introduced me to the people at Pepsi and Frito-Lay, and very not requiring anything, not asking for a kickback, not hey, you get something, make sure I get something. And now we're having meetings with Pepsi about partnership and how we invest. And that's the thing that I always try to do when I create a space is make sure that I share it with everybody. Shade Room, Ball Alert. I'm not competing with none of them. Ball Alert doing their thing, Shade Room doing their thing, Hollywood Unlocked is doing their thing. But ultimately, if I'm the only one getting it, I'm just as much a part of the problem as the people that aren't giving it to us that don't look like us. And so I think to much whom is given, much is required, and you've done that for me. So I appreciate
this is a really critical point, y'all, because, and we've all been in this situation, whether we've discussed it or not. There is a belief with those organizations that want to be a part of our culture based on what we offer, and they tell us we gotta pick one of us. So if we pick Revolt, we can't do Hollywood Unlocked. If you do Essence, you can't do the one that rhymes with Ebony, right? Like you can't do. There can only be one. That's a lie from the pit of hell, y'all. And that is a way that we watch the capital industrial complex continue to keep us separated by lying to us to tell us there's only enough for one black check. So what happens beyond what Jason said, another example of that is Detavio and I will go in and be like, give him some, give me some. Jason and I can go, give me, and if they're not there, I'm gonna be like, hey, call old boy, I got some money, go get yours too.
You did that. You did that with Procter & Gamble.
I did, because like that's part of our role is to shut down this idea that no organization can support more than one black-owned company. You're not limiting what you're pilfering, so why are you limiting what you're paying? And then for you guys as individuals, because we've been talking a lot about companies and organizations, but let me tell you the role that you play individually, because you might be like, that's cute, Caroline, but I work a job, I pay bills, and I got $72. Everybody ain't getting that $72. I get it. Let me tell you a story about what your dollar does. Essence is currently owned by Rich Lou Dennis and the Dennis family, right? They are a family who bought Essence back from Time Warner so that it could go black into black ownership. Do you know how they were able to do that? Raise your hand if you know the Shea Moisture brand. Put your hand down.
I'm wearing Shea Moisture today.
Well, I was going to ask that. Raise your hand if you've been buying Shea Moisture products for more than 5 years. So let me tell you why you created the moment that Rich Lou Dennis could buy Essence. Because your purchase of Shea Moisture products created a humongous body care company that was big enough to be sold to an even bigger general market company, Unilever, that created a return to a black man that turned around and put a black media company back into black ownership. You did that. If you wouldn't have bought Shea Moisture, Rich Lou Dennis wouldn't have had the money to bring Essence back into black. You might not think that your dollar matters. It does, because what we're able to do with the money you spend with black can make black better. Please do not think you don't make an impact.
So two things I'm gonna do to jump off of that. One off of Caroline's point. For anybody in the room, for me, the two biggest things you can do to support the folks on this stage, you vote with your eyeballs. You have to watch Revolt. You have to go to essence.com. You've got to watch and engage with Hollywood Unlocked and everything that Jason is building. That's one. The other piece that I want to talk about that Jason talked about, which is this notion of how we're not hogging it. There's a reason that all three of us are on the stage. And so in the black-owned media space, only 1% of the dollars, advertising dollars, come to black media. Y'all are the culture. Y'all are the juice. Y'all are the sauce. But advertisers only give us 1%.
I don't think they heard the number though.
1% of what? Maybe that will help. 1% of how much money?
$1 trillion plus. You know, like it's 1% of $1 trillion plus. It's incredible. And so what you will never see us do as black people is fight over 1 penny. We're coming after the 99. And we need your help collectively to help us go after the 99. As you guys show up to events like this and prove that there's demand for Hollywood Unlocked, prove that there's demand for Essence Fest, prove that there's demand for Revolt World, then the brands will show up and we can do more for our community. Okay, coming to you now. So one of the reasons when I announced you, I mentioned the notion that you were a reality TV star. The reason I said that is because a core piece of Revolt is to shift the narrative for black people globally. For me, one of the most impressive things about Jason when I met him was his dreams. And I don't know if you're comfortable, but if you're comfortable, I would just love to hear you dream. Like tell the folks about, I know you can't tell everything because you're a man that got a lot of stuff secret and a lot of stuff working, but you dream. Are you comfortable sharing some of?
Yeah.
All right, tell them.
I mean, just really quickly, I come from a city called Stockton, California. It's one of the. That person has a gun on him. Be careful. I come from a community that a lot of us are familiar with. Let me say that. My mother was a heroin addict, raising 2 black kids on her own. My father was absent. I was molested. I was abused, put in foster care, shot, watched my brother die. I gained lots of weight after I gained depression. I had lots and lots of trauma. But what's defined me is that I was able to always have an idea for what my life was going to be. And I took every trial that was put in my life and turned it into a testimony. I wrote a book called God Must Have Forgotten About Me so I can give that to other people to work through their stuff. I had girlfriends. I got boyfriends. I had it all. And what I know for sure, and what I love about our partnership, and what I love about even our conversations, because we ain't gonna talk about our conversations today, but this one right here, you know, we talk. And I love the fact that when I started my career, the only door that opened for me was reality TV through a show called Love and Hip Hop. Don't clap. It's on a network owned by a white woman. VH1 and BET are networks owned by a white woman. The BET Awards is owned by a white woman. And so when I got on that show, I knew what they wanted from me. And once I saw what they wanted, I played into it and I gave them everything they could. Y'all saw me on that show acting a damn fool, weighing 323 pounds, making $1,000 an episode to act like an animal. But what I realized was I was mad at the community for seeing me one way, but then had to take responsibility that that's all I was giving them. And so once I understood the power of what we got up here, black ownership, owning your platform, controlling your narrative, finding your community, pouring into them, have them pour into you, I understood the importance of showing up and showing everybody all of who I am. And I think that what you said about your participation in this is know that we need your support so we can go back and tell the story for that 1% to go to 2 to 5 to 20 to 30. But then more importantly, when it comes to the celebrities that you watch, their movies, their products that you consume, if they're not supporting black, if they're not showing up for Essence, if they're not coming to Revolt, if they're not coming to my award show, don't support them either. Because they ain't earned it. And that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I think the only thing I would add to that is, you know, we're having this conversation about supporting black, engaging with black. You don't have to pick just black, but make sure some of your money comes this way. Let me be really clear. I remember when I took this job, I had a reputational repair meeting with somebody who the brand had pissed off at some point in the past. And I sat down with her. She was a black woman. I said, hello, I'm Caroline Wanga. She said, I know who you are. It's my business to know who's running Essence. Why do I tell you that story? Because that wasn't a bad statement. It was a true one. We're not asking you to engage with black and take less than what you deserve. We're asking you to spend your dollars and give the same feedback and input for improvement that you do all your other brands. When you go pay for them, what are the damn shorts I'm thinking about? True Religion. When you go buy some True Religion pants that are bad, you don't go back and cuss them out. You tell them what needs to be better, ask for a discount, and get a second pair for free. My point is, we're not saying we're perfect. We're saying we want to be in relationships. So this is not about lowering your standard to engage with black. This is about spending your dollar with black and holding us accountable to what we need to deliver. When that woman said to me, it's my business to know who runs Essence, that wasn't about Caroline. That was about, I own this Essence. This is a community artifact. So if you gonna sit in that chair, you better do right, or you can move out of that chair so that my Essence is okay. That's the difference. That's the difference.
And I know that can I just say one more thing? Because I don't know why Detavio got the three of us up here with a time limit. The three of us are going to companies and pitching culture to white people. And I'm sorry if that makes anybody upset because I love white people. My mama white. She's dead though, but she's white. I was on a phone call with somebody explaining to them why we needed their investment in the culture, and they were telling me what the culture needed. And I said, tell me what the culture is. Because I've been living it 46 years. 46 years I've been in the culture. 46 years I have had to fight my way to get through the culture to get to school. 46 years I've had to talk to my family about what they don't get from the culture, how the culture is dying because you're not feeding us. So tell me, what is the culture? They couldn't tell me that, and I said, now hire me to teach you what the culture is. So what's important is that all of you out there that aspire to do anything that we're doing, regardless of what our title, because titles don't matter to me, CEO, CFO, CRO, assistant, whatever, everybody is smart and intelligent from a point of view that we all value. Don't let nobody sell you a hoop dream. Be smart about the community that you're in, the culture that you thrive for, that you survive in, and that you want to elevate, and get behind the people that are fighting for you, because we up here making it look sexy and making it look good. Them covers at Essence are beautiful. Detavio's content is amazing, but you don't understand the fight that goes on to make sure that you're fed stuff that motivates you to get through your day and make your kids look at opportunities like that Michelle Obama special you did that I sat through and watched through and said, oh my God. And he ain't gonna tell you, but he pulled together a list of amazing women from Miss Tina and Winnie and Kelly Rowland, all them, and put them in a room to talk. And I don't know if he knew, but Michelle Obama gave them all her phone number. But that's what he was able to do for all these amazing women of color to connect. And now they all have personal relationships with Michelle Obama. And I'm just mad I wasn't there.
I want to be Michelle's bestie.
Shout out to Monique, head of Revolt Studios Atlanta, who's the leader who designed all of that and made it amazing. Okay, I'm gonna ask you guys for your final words.
Well,
but before I
go.
do that, I'm just gonna give you time to think about what your final words are. Jumping off of their conversation, and I say this all the time, media is simply mirrors and windows. It is a mirror for those people who the story is about. It is a mirror that shows them who they are. It tells them what they're capable of. It tells them where they come from, and it tells them who they get to be. Imagine that you have been living in a world from the entire time that you were born where the mirrors are funky. You know those circus mirrors that when you stand in front of them, it looks all weird and funky? That's what y'all have been getting because the people who have been feeding you content don't care about your community, aren't pouring into your community, and to his point, don't understand your community. On the other side, media is windows. For the people who sit outside of the community and get to watch it, it tells them who you are. It tells them what you're capable of. The reason that white woman grabs her purse in the elevator when you step into it is because the story and the narrative for hundreds of years have told them that you are dangerous. And so you have to support the people who are fixing the windows and the mirrors of this world for Black people all across the globe. Does that make sense? Okay.
Damn, Detavio, that was smart as hell.
I know. Y'all got that on tape.
You're gonna have me walking outside looking through all types of windows.
Be careful.
All right, final words. Who want to go first?
Jason.
I'll go, the queen can end. Well, first I would say is I really appreciate you inviting me to be a part of this conversation because it was an honor to align myself with people who are respected and who are extremely successful. It's not easy building your own media company and fighting every day to get to where we've been able to get to, and I love that. And I also love the fact that as much as we're colleagues in the movement, I call Detavio, and I vent, and I talk to him like my therapist, and then I call her, and we vent. But it's a community where he hears me, he sees me, he allows me to be me without judgment and talk and share my contribution to it because ultimately I'm the culture too. I'm not as politically correct because I don't have the patience for it. I just say what I say and I leave everything on the floor and you can pick up the pieces and deal with it in the car. But I'm hiring people that are better than me in that area because that's not always the best.
I mean, we got to
do.
protect somebody.
Yeah, but I just appreciate that you all allow me to be me and share the space with you. And I'm grateful that all of you came and spent some time with us because everything we said today is more important than everything I'm going to say after what I'm going to say next to this thing.
So I'm going to take a point of personal. First of all, Jason Lee, this is the last time I want to hear you thank us for letting you into this room. You belong here.
Thank you.
You belong in this seat. This stage is yours. The reality is, I don't own Essence. Detavio don't own Revolt. He owns Hollywood Unlocked at a $51 million valuation. Don't you ever again give a disclaimer for being present.
Amen.
Thank you.
You are to be here. This is not charity. It is earned. You have fought for it. You belong here. You are at the throne. Take it.
Hey.
See, if the brands ain't pouring into you like she just poured into me, don't serve them, y'all. Don't support it. But thank you.
Now, the only other thing I will add as a part of my closing statement is a word I made up, but you guys have heard me use it, which is co-opetition. Number one, know that we are not successful in helping our culture be seen differently by partners if you don't create the culture. You're the product. Keep delivering, keep creating, keep posting, all of us know what the statement means, I love us. That means you saw something on social that you know a black person did and you're just like, I love us. It could be everything from petty to prolific.
Blueface and Krishan.
All of it. But you know what it means when we say, I love us. You are the product. You are the one defining culture. The little pithy thing you put here and the profound thing you do there is what we do for the world. We are simply brokers of what you're creating. If you stop doing you, we can't do us. And if we can't do us, then the money don't come back to you. So my ask is, we're making sure that there's room at the table for anybody who wants to have a black company to get back what it needs at full valuation. It will be impossible if tomorrow you don't wake up and do that thing you've wanted to do. This is all examples of people that woke up one day and made a decision to serve their purpose in the world. Your purpose is most important because if you stop creating, we stop existing, and that's not okay. So please, do what we do because I love us, and us need to be here, and you're the only ones that can keep that going.
Damn, that was smart, Caroline.
So I know we got work to do, so I want y'all to do me a favor. Can you please give a wonderful round of applause for Jason Lee, Caroline Wanga. Up here we're trying to show y'all that the only way for progress is unity. If we who compete for advertising dollars can unite, if we who compete can pour into each other, if we who compete can partner together, then what the hell can we do? And when we do it, who can stop us?
You
Let's
will never
go.
see us do something bad about each other on each of our platforms.
No.
Out of line.
Thank you all.
We pick up the phone and argue.
Yeah, we argue about it behind the scenes like the rest of the petty people. Bye, y'all.
We gotta let
Thank
Jason
you.
do his real work. We're gonna take pictures right here. Can y'all give him a round of applause?